Tonight's episode of Late Night Live is sponsored by Pandora Pickled Eggs. Only the finest battery-farmed hen's eggs pickled in malt vinegar. Pandora is the brand you know and love. When you need an egg in a pH lower than 4, you know Pandora's the way to go. And of course, all you have to do is crack that famous top and the whole family will come running. And the smell is just to die for. A favourite for farmers and men over 70 with bad circulation, the pickled egg has been a tea time table staple for the best part of 70 years. For too long, the pickled egg has simply been an accompaniment to a ploughman's lunch or fish and chips. But with Pandora, the possibilities are almost endless. For instance, the pickling vinegar. Yes, it's a startling 1 pH, but that doesn't mean it can't serve as a tasty tipple. I love vinegar. And I'm sure the viewers of this channel will have a lot of questions exactly what to do with a pickled egg, but Pandora really see their product as an all-rounder, which means even in a cup of tea, the only question you'll be asking, would you like 1 egg or 2? Tonight's sponsor Pandora set out on a bold mission to answer the question, why eat a fresh egg when you can eat a worse tasting egg that has been in a jar for 24 months? Well, that's where Pandora's pickled egg comes in, answering that question with a quite emphatic, this is why. So thank you once again to tonight's sponsor, Pandora's Pickled Eggs, for when you open Pandora's box, the only thing inside is eggs. On with the show. Welcome to Late Night Live. My name is Joe, this is Stretford, Paddock. We're back this time. Hopefully the sound, hopefully things aren't too loud. If you turn the music down a touch, there we go. Right, calm down. Everybody calm down. Everybody just calm right down. I apologise, I'm here. I've got all sorts of people helping me tonight. And you know what, sometimes the help doesn't help. And I'm not blaming them, I'm blaming myself. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. We are back though for Late Night Live. Stephen Howson's just arrived with some pizzas, I assume? No pizza. He's got 4 pizzas on the way, but they're not here yet. Tonight's sponsor, of course, is Pandora Pickled Eggs. Very kind sponsor tonight. We've also, of course, sponsored by Cans, ladies and gentlemen. Second time round, what do you reckon? What do you reckon, Alex, so far on the 1s and 2s? Doing all right. He's doing all right. Alex thinks we're doing all right. I've turned your intro music off. An unprecedented audience on this one. Right, people saying way better, people saying bring the music back. Sometimes you just got to go with the best of a bad bunch. Tonight though, of course we're sponsored by Pickled Egg, so I want your egg footballer puns. It's as simple as that. Eggs and football, egg footballers. I'm talking Titus Scramble, I'm talking West Bromwich Albion. Do you know what I mean? These are the kind of puns that I'm looking for tonight. I'm going to be making a full egg 11. We've been here before, you know what we're doing. Eggs, footballers. It sounds strange. It is strange. I appreciate that. But that's what we're going to be doing. So get your egg puns going on. Someone says, just fuck my eardrums, my dude. Junko, if you were any closer, I just might try. Someone said, give the eggs a pause. Eggy Sheringham. Fantastic. He's going in up front. Stephen says, that's good. Feel free to shout out any egg football puns that are in the room, if anyone's got any. Eggy Sheringham. Someone said, I thought Pandora's pickled eggs was a joke. No. Here you go, full-time deviled eggs. Very good from Stephen Howson. Not strictly anything to do with a footballer, but it's still a very good football pun nonetheless. Yeah, these are Pandora pickled eggs, pickled in distilled malt vinegar as well. It's like premium, very much a high end. What was that? Patrice Egra. He's going in at left back. Patrice Egra. We're going to be talking tonight then about Mason Greenwood. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has... Who we got? Sven-Goran Egerson. It's good, but it's not great. I immediately regret telling people in the room to shout out with their correspondence because it's getting distracting now, so less of that, thank you. We're going to be looking at Mason Greenwood tonight. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out and said he's never late for training. What are you on about? We'll get into that full story in a little bit. Is Ole just defending the player? Is this a sort of series of sort of negativity toward Mason Greenwood? Is it deserved? Is it not deserved? It's not deserved, let's be honest. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's get a few more of your egg puns. There's a lot coming in. Odion, Egg, Arlo. We've already got a striker. I need wingers. I need central midfielders. I need fullbacks, centre-backs, goalkeeper. I've already got West Bromwich Albion for the team name, but I need a stadium as well. Where do they play? The Theatre of... You tell me. That's what I need to know. Dwight Yoke, very good. I've already got a striker, but he's got to go in at centre forward because that's too good. Dwight Yoke, that's really very good. Jordan Pickled Eggford, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Florentine Tolisso, that's very good. That's very good actually. Eggs Florentine, of course. Is that eggs with spinach or eggs with ham? We've got a non-egg lover in the room, so I've picked the wrong person here. Egginson Cavani, Mould Trafford. I don't know, I think you may have gone too deep on my egg knowledge there. I don't know what mould is in return to regard to eggs. David De Egg Heyer. It's a bit of a stretch, that one. Let's get into our first story tonight then. And this is Mason Greenwood. Let's be honest. He went to England. Well, he went away with England. He went to Iceland. He pulled some birds. He shouldn't have done it. He got told off. We thought the story ends there. But then he's not in the squad to play against Newcastle. He's not in the squad to play against PSG. All of a sudden, you've got to start asking questions. And the press did start asking questions. They were saying that Mason Greenwood was turning up late for training. He had general tardiness problems, which is a word that always sounds a bit dodged, doesn't it? But I can assure you it's the right word. Mason Greenwood, this is according to BBC Sport. Media are starting to go after Manchester United striker, says Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said that the media are starting to go after Mason Greenwood. The forward has missed the last 2 United games amid speculation. He repeatedly turned up late for training, and this follows from being dropped by the England squad or from the England squad for his well-publicised indiscretion during the team's trip to Iceland in September. Yeah, indiscretion is one way of putting it. Mason made a mistake this summer with England, and suddenly the whole English press go after him, said Solskjaer. I have to disappoint you, he's never late for training. He's never a problem when he's on the training ground. He's, always on time. Oh, when you call. I've seen the stories about, and some ex-United players talking about him, and they don't know what they're talking about, quite frankly. We have photographers outside training every day. They can see he's on time every day. I don't know where these stories have come from. He has a good family behind him. He has a good background in the academy. He's a good trainer. He trains really well. I cannot believe this story is about him not being professional. Solskjaer said it was possible Greenwood could be available for Saturday's Premier League encounter with Chelsea at Old Trafford. Now, initially, you sort of think, well, yeah, fair enough. That's true about, there's always people outside training. They know what time he turns up. Presumably the same people who are reporting that he's late for training take pictures of him on the way in every day. So they'll know whether he is or he isn't. So presumably, you would assume Solskjaer isn't lying on that front. It was Sky who pushed the main article saying that Mason Greenwood has had some issues with his, what was the word that they used? What was the word that they used? Come on. No, they said he's late all the time, and he isn't. He's had issues with his love length, according to Stephen Howson. I don't think there's been any issues. That's probably the problem, to be honest. But again, you're never quite sure with these things. Is Ole just protecting his player, which we've seen him do in the past? One thing that separates him from Jose Mourinho, as well as quite a few trophies, if we're brutally honest, is the fact that he defends his players publicly no matter what. Whereas Jose he'd have been, yeah, he's late for training all the time, I don't like him anymore. But Ole comes out and says, you know what, he's not even late. What are you on about? Which I quite like. Even if he is late, you know what, I hope he has been late. Because it shows that Ole's there to back his players. I hope he hasn't been training for 6 weeks and Ole's going, he's there every day, what are you on about? I hope he's just blatantly lying to the press. I'd love that. Luckily, I don't think he is. I do think Mason is probably turning up for work on time, which is, let's be honest, the minimum you'd expect, isn't it, from a person earning that kind of money. But it looks as though the one way out of this for Ole is to play him at the weekend. I know he said he's injured or he's got some problem where he can't play, but if he plays him at the weekend, that kind of rules out pretty much any problems or any suggestion of problems between Ole and Mason Greenwood. Some more comments then. I want your egg footballer puns. I'm going to be coming back to this all night. I've got Eggy sharing them already. I've got Dwight Yoke, which is, for my money, the best one we've had tonight. Mason Green, Eggs and Ham. That's a Dr. Seuss reference. We've got Eggs White Hart Lane. I see what you're doing there. Egg Whites. Sorry, my mistake. We've got Donny van der Beek. Beak spelled like a chicken's beak. We've got Peter Poach. We've got Thierry Hen. Emphasis on Henry. We've got Romlet Lukaku. Like an omelette. That does not even work in the slightest. But it's maybe my favourite one so far. Ryan Greggs. Oh yeah, there's an eggs in there. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the bakers. Who else we got? Egg fried Royce. We've got Diego Costa. Ross Barkley. That's not bad. Like a chicken makes that noise, doesn't it? Oh, dear. Tighter scramble. I said that one at the start. You can't have that one. Pavel Nedved. Pavel Nedved. That one's pushing it. You're pushing your luck with that one. Teddy Sheringham. I'd love to have Teddy Sheringham, but I've already got Eggy Sheringham, Steve, if I'm honest with you. Eggy Sheringham. Right, let's do a hybrid. Eggy Sheringham. Aaron Scrambley. I don't know who that's meant to be. Eggy Coleman. This is great. Daniel Egger. Hens lay man. He's in there. Because hens do lay, man. That's true. Hens lay man. That's very nice. Right, let's move on to our next story. A chippy is now selling deep fried pickled onions, and honestly, we want a jar full. Now, that's according to the Metro, not me, because I'll get into this story, but you already know I've made up my mind. This show has made up its mind in terms of jarred, pickled goods. But there are many things in this world that are wonderful on their own, but even better, covered in batter and deep fried. A Mars bar, for example, is obviously incredible alone, but when you stick it in a fry, it becomes something truly magical. The same goes for, fish, chips. I've seen a deep fried Sky remote once at one of my mates' house. That was one of the best things that ever happened in my life. But when you stick it in a fry, it becomes something truly magical. The same goes for fish, sausages, and well, most things, even Jaffa cakes, Brussels sprouts, and quality street sweets. So yes, we're totally on board with battered pickled onions, the new treat being served up at Codfather Fish and Chips in Campbellslang, Glasgow. First of all, Codfather. I mean, in theory, I would like that because I like a pun. But how many times have we seen Codfather for a fish and chip shop?
We have
Karim Benzema, I'm getting off camera here. I don't mind it, but I've already got two strikers. I need some central midfielders, some wiggers. I'll try and change the formation to fit three strikers in. The classic three-striker formation. What we got for that? That's what Steve plays. See, the thing that doesn't sit well with me here, because the same people with the ingenuity, as you can see on screen, this man here has the ingenuity to deep fry a pickled onion, and yet he goes with Codfather as the name of his fish and chip shop. There's something amiss here, and I'm not quite sure what it is. But of course, we couldn't mention pickled eggs or pickled onions without mentioning pickled eggs. And tonight's sponsor, of course, is Pandora Pickled Eggs. And the great thing about pickled eggs is that they work for all occasions, don't they? The vinegar's nice for starters. Thank you very much for the donation made by Pandora Pickled Eggs. The vinegar's great for starters, but it's the egg where you really make it happen. Cheers. Anyone like a pickled egg in the room? Just going to tuck into the pickled egg now. And the thing with these is they're really nice. And it's such a deep, deep vinegar. And the egg really mixes with that quite well. Thank you very much to Pandora Pickled Eggs. One of the most delicious treats available on the high street. Thank you to all of our sponsors tonight. Moving on to our next story then. Absolutely delicious that. Anyone at home who wants to get a Pandora Pickled Eggs, if it's going to be pickled, it's got to be Pandora. That's our motto tonight. Oh. So someone said Stephen Mayonnaise Smith. Which is fantastic because not everyone knows that mayonnaise is even made of eggs. Did you know that, Callum?
Callum?
I don't even know what his name is. Where does Stephen Naismith play? He's a striker, isn't he?
He used to play for Kilmarnock.
Let's put him in at midfield. As he's got older, he's dropped back a bit. Stephen.
Dwight Yoke played defensive midfield.
We've got Dwight Yoke already. Stephen Naismith. That's one of my favourites. Jesus Christ. Oh, one more bite, go on. Delicious. John Joe Shelby. Yeah, that's going in. Why did I take another bite? It really is bad. I wish they were like fake pickled eggs. Jude Shellingham. For reference. The Hard Boiled Stadium. What's that meant to be?
Hard Rock Stadium.
Hard Rock Cafe. Egger Davids. That one's almost too easy, but It's going in, I don't mind it. Egger. Davids.
Edwin van der Sar.
Egwin van der Sar. I've already got Hens Leyman in there. Let's move on to our next story then. And this is a bit of a, well, maybe the best story of all time, potentially. Not that one.
No, this one.
That one. Marcus Rashford, of course, for those of you who don't know, we spoke about it on this channel aplenty already. But last night he's taken his campaign to provide free school meals to students over the holidays. He's taken it to another level. After Parliament rejected his plans officially, they voted against extending the meal system. What he did is basically a modern day Normandy. Is it Normandy? A modern day Dunkirk is what I mean. A modern day Dunkirk, because they were refused at the beaches of Parliament. So what did we do? Everyone sent in their amateur versions of it, something like that. Do you know what I mean? The boats. What I'm trying to say is people have basically given up, small businesses have given up meals, have given up food, have given up time to offer free school meals to children in their area. And Marcus Rashford has been retweeting and collating these offers from people. Again, it's a modern day Dunkirk. I'm going to say it once, I'll say it twice. And there is also, if you Google Rashford free school meal map, someone has put all of these offerings into a single map that you can click on. It's a Google Maps, it's like active, so you can set your car to it, you can see where it is on the street. If you are a parent or you're a child who is in need of a free school meal or a free meal over the holidays, there's a collection of, so far, at least 42, but I'm sure there's a lot more than that coming, places where you can get a free meal over the holidays. And it's one of those things where you just saw everyone coming together, and when you see politicians in the position that they're in and the power that they have, and seemingly everyone in the general public disagreeing with them, when they are meant to represent people of areas that are standing up and doing these things for vulnerable children, you sort of realise that there's a bit of a disconnect between the role of the politician and the role that the politician is actually taking up at the moment. And I think Marcus Rashford has sort of summed that up nicely, and I think his campaign has been sort of shone a light on the fact that politicians don't always represent the people that voted them in the first place. And again, if you want to look at the kindness of the people and the businesses that have offered free school meals to children over the Christmas holidays and over the school holidays, go on that map. Hopefully we can put a link in the description. I'll send it to you, Alex. I'll send you the link so you can put that in the description. If there's anyone that you know that their children, or if you have children that are in need of free school meals, or you are a kid that needs a free school meal, there's a link in the description to a Google Maps version of all of these small businesses that have offered, and councils as well, that have offered to provide these school meals during the holidays. So let me copy that link and send that to you so we can get that in the description in case anyone needs it. Because you know what, I think we all know people, or we all are aware of people that would be desperately in need of this. So well done to Marcus Rashford. It goes without saying at this point, doesn't it? We all know that Marcus Rashford is, you know, the best of us, really, I think. So there you go. Let me send that over to them. We can get that in the description quickly. Right, a bit of a serious one there, but sometimes you've got to be serious, haven't you? Sometimes you've got to, look at the good things that are happening, or the sad things in this case that are happening, and make the most of a bad situation. Right, let's come back to some of your puns then. Egg, footballer, puns. Quite a right turn there, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. We've got Ben Hatcher. We've got Scotch Parker, as in Scotch egg. We've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Carl Yoke Ancelotti. You're pushing it there. Scotch McTominay. We've also got, who else we got? Sunny Side Up Young Min. As in Sun Hyung Min. It's a push. It's a real push, that one. I don't know if I can go with that. Who else we got? Andre Kanchelskis. That's not bad. We've got Christopher Robin, the writer of Winnie the Pooh, saying, "Eat another egg, Fanny." That is not the sentiment that was portrayed in Winnie the Pooh, and it's not the sort of sentiment we want here on the show. But thank you. Yeah, eat another egg then. Cheers, Fanny. Jason Sanchez. Yeah, go on then. Jaden Sanchez, we'll put on the right hand side. Jaden Sanch Egg. Harry Eggnap. That's when you have so many eggs, you just have to have a nap. Harry Eggnap is the manager. That's like when it's like the meat sweats. Then you have so many meats that you start sweating. You have so many eggs, you just have to have a nap. It's, you know, there's nothing you can do. And you're probably not going to poo for a few weeks. No, I'm not having that one. Meringue Sarr. Yeah, not bad for centre-back. Who else we got? Benedict Me. That's good. Like the idea that I'm pouring eggs or some sort of hollandaise sauce over the top of someone. I quite like that idea, to be honest. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Paul Yokba. You're pushing it. Joe Gomez. Tony Coops. That's not bad. And one more before we move on to our next story. Who we got here? We've got Philip Cockhoop. Where does he play? Centre mid. I've got 3 centre mids. I need centre backs and a right back and a left wing. Centre backs, right backs, left wing. Jacob, stop putting Frank Leb Oof in the comments. I won't tell you again. Pardon me. Paddy Egner. Sol Scramble. Very good. Sol Scrambles in at centre back. Let's move on to our next story then. And this is Edinson Cavani. May well be making his debut for Manchester United this weekend against Newcastle. We're all excited to see him. I think this may be one of the most underrated transfers United have ever made. I think it's got the potential that as soon as it happened, as soon as Manchester United showed their interest in Edinson Cavani, or Egginson Cavani, if we're talking tonight, as soon as it showed interest, the first thing that was trending, Falcao was trending. Basically saying, you know, it's going to be another Falcao, we're going to spend loads of money on this guy who's going to be crap. But actually, Edinson Cavani hasn't just come off a knee injury. Edinson Cavani has been scoring goals at PSG for a very long time, has been scoring goals at Napoli for a long time. And he's coming in on much less wages than Falcao was, or certainly comparatively lower wages compared to the rest of the squad than Falcao was. And I think that this could be, it's almost like a free hit. There's not the same expectation or, reliance upon Edinson Cavani as there was when Falcao came in. We've got Martial, we've got Greenwood, we've got our strikers sorted, but when you need an option, when Martial's suspended because he keeps getting sent off all the time, which is something that's a little bit weird, we've got Edinson Cavani. So it's going to be great to see him. And I honestly think he could be one of those signings where you go, this is exactly what we needed. This is exactly the cover that we need for Martial. This is exactly the substitute we need to bring on when things aren't going very well. We saw against Sevilla. We saw against, maybe not Tottenham because that game was kind of already away from us. But if we'd have had a world-class or a striker that has had a world-class career to bring off the bench, to come on, that's going to cause all sorts of trouble. And I think we may just see the difference between a team that's sort of struggling and doesn't have many options off the bench to one that really we can change a game. And we saw against PSG that Solskjaer does have it in his locker to change a game for the better if the right people are on the bench. Last season, we had to play Lingard and Pereira in the first team. So then who was even on the bench last season? Who was it? Gomez and Chong and players that, you know, no offence to those players, but don't improve a side. Now, we had Paul Pogba on the bench the other day. We had Bruno Fernandes coming off the bench a few weeks ago. We've got people on the bench in rotation. Van der Beek is there as well. And now if you add Edinson Cavani to that, you've got people who can actually improve a game and change it coming off the bench. So very excited for that. We've got a few more puns quickly then. Let's get into these. We've got Tyrone Wings, which is a chicken rather than an egg. The Egret Stadium. We've got Hector Bellerin, Hugo Egiog. It's not bad. Edgar Davids. I need a centre-back and a right-back. That's what I need. And a left winger. Cristiano Ronaldo. Electronotch, that's brilliant. Cristiano, I call him Chris. We're pretty tight. Chris Ronaldo. That's good, because everyone else was going for chicken's eggs. You went for fish eggs. Love that. Benedict Foster. I've already got a goalkeeper. Egg and Cresswell instead of Aaron Cresswell. Oh, yeah. Egg and Cress. Well, you're going in the team, mate. That's what's happening. I need one centre-back. That's all I need. Right, I need to get through these stories. There's so many left to go. This is a very quick one. Hungover woman's McDonald's meal raises eyebrows when people see a receipt. A mum's bizarre McDonald's order has people dying from laughter after her husband shared a snap of the receipt with her odd requests to his Instagram account. Now, what we're going to see here is a hamburger that was ordered when a woman was drunk. She ordered it. You know, you can add your little description, your little notes. She's gone with no bun, no mustard, no pickles, no patty, no onion. She's just basically ordered ketchup is what she's ordered there, which is great. But it reminds me of a time when, do you remember the heady days of BSE? Street name, mad cow disease. Well, back in the late 90s, if you ate a cow that had eaten a sheep, that had eaten a cow, your head fell off. So what they did is they advised people not to eat beef for a little bit in Britain. And during that time, I would go to McDonald's with my mum, and what we would get, quite simply, was a cheeseburger without the burger, please. Just a sandwich with bread, cheese, pickle, onion, mustard and ketchup on it. It was, my, delicious. Now, in fairness, she's taken this to the next level. Stephen is not at all happy with me ordering a beef burger with no beef on it as a kid. But you know what, Steve? Sometimes you got to go low beef on these things. I meant to say Steve. I apologise. Steve's got an alter ego which we're not allowed to talk about in the office. Katie's the sort of person who'll make modifications to a classic. No pickles, no onions, etc. She added, so what this is no pickles, no onions, no mustard, no bun, no patty. They literally sent us 2 packets of ketchup. Ha, 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 she wrote. But yeah, sometimes, I bet that didn't even taste that bad. Because if you imagine it's a burger while you're eating it, do you think you could imagine a burger so much that you're just eating ketchup but it still tastes like a burger? No. Alex said yeah. Right, move on to our next story then. It's running on this show tonight, although admittedly we did start late. And it's another fast food story before we move on to our final Egg 11 puns. KFC dubs Prince William his royal fineness after he's caught peering in to restaurant window. First of all, I take exception with calling KFC a restaurant. It is a food hole. A food hole that we all love, but come on, restaurant is pushing it. Prince William goes by many names, the Duke of Cambridge, to Wills, and even Wombat, a nickname lovingly given to him as a child by his mother, Princess Diana. I've heard people call him other things as well. Horrible things, if I'm honest. But now the royal has earned himself a new title, His Royal Fineness. The Duke was granted the unique moniker by the fast food chain KFC after he was spotted peering into the windows of one of its restaurants during an official engagement. On Tuesday, William and the Duchess of Cambridge stepped out to meet with some of the 100 finalists from Kate's Hold Still photography project, which she launched during lockdown. But on the way, the Duke appeared to be distracted by the smell of KFC's famously secret blend of 11 herbs and spices and couldn't help but lean in and stare through the window. Now you can see this picture here. My question to you at home, do you think Prince William has ever had KFC? I reckon he might not have. Imagine as well if you're a Deliveroo driver and you're checking delivery address, Buckingham Palace. How good would that be? Do you think Prince William's ever had KFC?
My balls are growing if I'm delivering to KFC.
Steve said he's putting his balls on it if he's delivering to the Buckingham Palaces. But you know what? They're gonna do a DNA test on that. But to be fair, there's probably human testicles in KFC anyway. That's what makes it taste so good. Jamie Stanley says, egg in a bap stam. That's great. Horse's spine in a bap. Egg in a bap. Isn't he the dancer from Diversity? Egg in a bap stam. So Prince William's had a KFC. There's your story. I don't think he's ever had a KFC. He's looked through the window, but there's no chance he's had one, has it? And if he did, what do you think he went for? Probably something with a bit of gravitas. The boneless banquet.
Chips.
He said chips. That's a shame, isn't it? He's a Villa fan, isn't he? So he must have had something. Steve thinks he's boring, so he's just gone for chips. I like to think he's had the gravy, which is made by pouring hot water on a chicken's carcass that they found in the bottom of a chip fryer. That is actually how they make the gravy there, which to me is absolutely delicious. Harry Meringue instead of Harry Maguire. All I need now is a stadium. That's all I need. I need one stadium with an egg football pun. It's been an absolute disaster tonight, but you know what? This is why we're here. Caviar Maguire, it's not bad. Ben Egg White, Lauren Kosh, Shell Knee. Daniel Hussein says, I love you. Thanks, Daniel. I love you too. Right. Let's go through our Egg 11. Because, you know what? You've been bringing them in all night. You've had some great puns. We've got Mauricio Poch Egg Tino. We've got Caviar Maguire. Again, it's coming. Poached egg Tino. Yeah. But White's Hart Lane. There you go. Egg White's Hart Lane. There's our stadium. Let's go through our team then. This is our Egg 11 brought to you by yourselves in the comments, of course. In net, we've got hens lay man, which is kind of like a hippie-ish take on how hens do their business. Right back, Aaron, Eggs and Cresswell, centre-back partnership, and what a great partnership this is, may I add. Egg in a Bap Stam and Sol Scramble. With left-back, we've got Patrice Egra. Midfield, Egger Davids. We've got Stephen Mayonnaise Smith, and we've got John Joe Shelley. And then on the right-hand side, we've got Jadon Sanchez. In behind the striker, which is actually a 12th player, as I'm realising as I'm reading this, we've got Dwight Yoke, we've got Eggy Sheringham up front, and of course, on the left-hand side, we've got Cristiano, Rowe, Naldo. Now, what team do they play for, you're asking? They play for West Bromwich Albion. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I apologise that the show was late. I apologise that the sponsor had to be Pickled Eggs because, let's be honest, they're shit. And they taste absolutely horrible, but if you buy them, you get 1% off, and we get, I get all the takings from that. So please do buy Pandora Pickled Eggs, available. Very few places stock them because they are, as I said, so gross. Hope you all have a great weekend. We're going to be back tomorrow for Manchester United against Chelsea. We're here for the watch-along. It's an all-new watch-along. So those of you who are here, we are starting at 4 o'clock for the 5:30 kickoff. We've got all sorts of build-up. We've got the team news. We're going to have Alex's pre-match show with all the predictions from some of you at home and from some of our other contributors. We've got Steve's opposition breakdown. We've got all sorts going on. And it probably won't be the only breakdown that Steve has tomorrow if results don't go to plan. So make sure you tune in for the watch-along, starting at the brand new time of 4 p.m. for Manchester United against Chelsea here on Stretford Paddock. Thank you very much for joining tonight. Thank you very much for your puns. Thank you for standing by while the technology failed us. See you in a bit.